All right, everybody, and we are back. Welcome on in. My name is Amirna, and I'm going to be your host for the next, until the end of the marathon. I hope everybody has had a fantastic day, and I know I am currently looking forward to our next run, which is Metroid Fusion by CScottyW. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you, Scotty. Good luck and have fun.
All right, I will give a quick countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So, to start off, I am Scotty. I've been running this game for like 6 years now, I think. Excuse me, text. You actually have to like focus on text mashing in this game. It's kind of stupid that you need to do one part to advance the text and then another part to speed up the text. But I've been running this game and Metroid games in general for about 6 years now. I hold the record in, I think, all the categories in this game. So I think I know what I'm doing, but we shall find out. So the first thing that we gotta do, just gotta kill this Hornode in here, and then head back. And then Adam, spoiler, this guy's Adam. He's going to tell us that there's horrible things going on here, and we need to fix it. If I could read Japanese, I'd probably tell you the story, but I can't, so I probably won't. I've honestly forgotten most of what Adam says in this game, because I've been running it on Japanese for so long. Some basic movement things. In this game, it's fastest to be running on the ground as much as possible. And if you can't be running, then you want to be... how do I say this? If you can't be running, you want to be in the air as little as possible. And that... just that idea in general leads to a lot of kind of complex movement in this game. But it's really fun to do, and it's generally simple. It's conceptually simple, but it leads to complex situations sometimes. So here you have missiles. Missiles are going to be our go-to for a lot of damage output early on, until we get Charge Beam in like 5 minutes or so. They do significantly more than the base beam does. It's like 5 times more, I think. I think base beam does 2 damage and missiles do 10 or something like that. Another thing about platforming is that if you don't have to land, you shouldn't. If it allows you to skip over something like it did at the start of this room. Very nice. But because this is 100%, we will be collecting all the items in this area right now. You can actually collect every single item except one, which I'll talk about later. You can collect all of them at any point in the game. So there's nothing that'll lock you out at the end if you miss it on your first pass. Where did that missile go? I promise I did not try to do that. Funny thing there, if you damage Arachnus and he does his little like recoil animation thing, you can shoot through his shell if you're positioned properly. I'm glad I got to show that off because it's really cool. But Arachnus, he took, I think, like 15 misses to kill, and he's kind of a pushover. So he goes by fast. And another thing that you may have noticed me doing in that fight against the Korax there is that you want to be shooting 2 missiles at it. You want 2 missiles to connect on the same frame to do twice as much damage without having to wait for the cooldown, which is a really big time save. It adds up to, if you get all of the doubles in this run, it adds up to like over a minute of time save. Because each round, or each round of iframes on a core lasts 3 seconds on normal mode. So you really want to get those doubles in, or else that time loss really adds up. You may notice me running around, kind of aiming up and down. In Super Metroid, that pushes you forward by a pixel every time you do that. You may have heard Linka talk about that. I don't remember if he did or not. But in this game, it does nothing. It's just for fun. Coming up is Sector 1. Logically, the first sector to be going to. Missile management in here is very important. We want to be using missiles on as many things as we can to just get them out of the way, because there will be a lot of enemies in the way. And since missiles are the best way to output damage, we will be using a lot of them. In Sector 1 there are 5 stabilizers that we need to clear out. They're covered with a missile barrier of some sort. And Adam will not let us leave until we clear all of them. So this will be the first one here. Really interesting thing that I did there was I shot and jumped on the same frame, or I shot and get out of my way. Shot and spin jumped on the same frame, and that allows me to shoot from lower down on my hitbox. It's a very small thing, but it can allow for some neat strats. I think I should have talked about it at the first Idor, but I'll be doing it again coming to the top. Oh, hello. These pirates are random. It's really impossible to know how many are going to be on that wall. It can be 2, it can be 5. So on top of wanting to be using missiles all the time, we have to have some way to replenish them. And you can do that, you can guarantee a missile drop if you are at full health, which I am not. But if I was, I'd be getting green X's everywhere, which recover my missiles. If you're not at full health, it's a 1 in 5 chance to get a missile drop from any enemy. So to be at 10 here is pretty nice. So the Idor double here, there's so much to explain right here. I want to be shooting 2 missiles and want them to connect on the eye on the same frame. Gosh, can you stop this? Thank you. And have them connect on the same frame. And I do that by doing a spin shot in midair, which allows me to fire a missile from the back of my hitbox so that the second missile can be shot further forward. No! Fine. Tried to do a little setup there to get 2 doubles on this I-Core. So now we have Charge Beam. Charge Beam is a huge upgrade. Dang. There's a neat strat you can do there to wall jump off of that door, but you can only do it once because the door opens. Charge Beam has 2 particles, and an uncharged Charge Beam, which is kind of weird saying that, but an uncharged Charge Beam has 2 particles. It has the top part of the beam and the bottom part of the beam. Yeah, you can notice that it is a bit taller than the base beam. Oh. Can you move? Thank you. And then a fully charged beam has 3 parts. It'll have the top part of the beam, the bottom part of the beam, and then it'll have the flare around the arm cannon, which does a small amount of damage, which will be very important coming up in Sector 4. That was all of the stabilizers. That was the last one. And now we can leave the sector. If you're familiar with this game, you'll probably know that I skipped a lot of items in Sector 1 that I could have picked up right now. They are generally faster at the beginning later. There will be a large cleanup section that's about 20 minutes long after I kill Ridley, which is, in my opinion, the best part of the run, because it is uninterrupted. There's no talking to Adam every 6 minutes, and no go here, go there. Let's just clean out the station and go. Ridley is in this game. Fascinating, isn't it? Also, please make fun of me endlessly if I go down the wrong elevator in this run. I did it in practice, so I'm like, where the heck am I trying to go here? And it is super slow. The elevators take forever. You do not want to go down the wrong elevator. There's kind of a weird thing in this game that isn't in that is not in any of the other Metroid games, to my knowledge. Maybe there is, but I don't think there is. Where enemies can spawn in and respawn throughout a room at varying points in time. You kind of caught a glimpse of it in this last room. In this room here when I was going through it the first time. So, in general, it's a good idea to only kill what you need to kill, because sometimes it'll reform in a spot where you don't want it to be. And it can really cause you a lot of trouble that you wouldn't normally have. This is bombs. I can't read it, but I know what it is. Bombs in this game are awful. They're a really not so great upgrade because of all that they tried to do to keep you from sequence breaking with it. They have like a 1 second or 1.5 second bomb timer. It's so slow. And it gives you almost no height if you're in the air. I'm actually going to try to abuse that here. Oh, that was late. Haha. That is a rather tricky jump. Skips raising the pillar. Unfortunately, I failed it the first time, which means that I lost time doing that. But it still looked cool. Basic movement here. That last room, and with a lot of destructible blocks, you want to be moving through them as much as you can when the bomb explodes, so that you can have as much speed as possible going through them. Because if you're just like running up against like a door or a bomb block before the bomb has gone off, you are starting from a standstill once that block is destroyed or the door opens. So you really want to be maximizing your speed, going through things as much as possible. And same goes for these shot cancels that I'm doing on a lot of ledges here. When you shoot or press up or down to break out of spin, Samus will immediately lose all of her vertical speed, and her hitbox will be extended a little bit downwards, and you can kind of catch the floor doing that when you're going over a ledge. It is very useful in going fast in this game, because it allows you to land immediately and start running as soon as you can. This is Osby. He jumps a lot. He can jump between 3 and 12 times, excuse me. I haven't been keeping count. I think this is 4 right now. Seven? Not too bad. Pretty average. There's a very nice sweet spot there. If you kill one of these cores next to where it wants to be grabbed, you can save a lot of time because it'll allow itself to be grabbed instantly. Coming up, we have an SAX encounter. We're going to slip past her unnoticed. Ah, oh, shoot, I got noticed. Alright, see ya. She's kind of slow to respond when you go through her like that. It looks a lot scarier than it actually is once you've practiced it well. Although it is something that whenever we have tournaments, you may see a lot of deaths there. It can be very scary to new players who don't quite understand how S6's AI works. Yeah, there's several different setups for it. That's the easiest one, but it requires 3 E-tanks, so you can't use that in any percent or low percent unless you have... You can't use it in any percent unless you've grabbed 3 E-tanks before that point, which normally you wouldn't. And you can't use it in low percent because you don't have any E-tanks to work with. So you have to do a kind of special setup where you jump over her with Spring Ball, and it is much scarier than just running through here, getting frozen, and tanking the shot. Fortunately, they're about the same speed, like within a couple frames of each other, so it doesn't really matter which one you choose to do. Getting frozen is much, much safer, too. So now we're in Sector 4, which is logically the third place that we'd be going. There is electrified water here, and when we touch it, it does damage. So we are going to not touch it a lot. Seems practical. Oh, excuse me. There's some doors that you'll notice me jumping through, like that one there. That is to make the door scroll less vertically when I'm going through it. This one in particular is a really bad one. I'll show you what it looks like. Like, look how long that takes to scroll all the way down, and then when I jump through it like this, it barely scrolls at all. And that saves, I think, about half a second each time you do it on that door in particular. Why were you facing up? A lot of these items are very out of the way in Sector 4, but unfortunately there's no better time to get them. Excuse me, I pressed up on accident. Yeah, Fusion is very good with counting things. It really likes to count to 6. A lot of the core... Oh, hello. A lot of the cores in this game take 6 missiles to break. Now that we have Charge Beam... Whoop, excuse me. Please open. Now that we have Charge Beam, all of these eye doors only take 1 full charge shot, as long as you're standing right in front of them. And Ceres here, we're going to try to kill with 2 hits using that full charge shot. Ceres has 50 health, and a point blank charge shot like that will do 26 damage. Very nice sweet spot. It's a nifty little trick there to allow me to unmorph right next to the ground to get that low height spark through those blocks. You know, I was trying something new there and it didn't quite work. That's cool. Sometimes you just need to try new things, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Coming up here is a really easy missile to miss if you're used to playing any percent. Normally we store the spark here and then we'll spark out immediately. But you really don't want to miss this missile down here, because it is a pain to come back for. Is that too high? Nope. You have to barely leave this room in order to get enough space for this speed booster. So unlike Super Metroid, which has the tapping technique, with this game you have to really... It really is just run a certain distance. That was a terrible jump extend, which I guess I can explain. Jump extends... what I said earlier about breaking out a spin, resetting Samus's speed, that applies if you are like in a spin jump state at all. So we can use that to reset Samus's vertical speed and gain a little bit of horizontal distance each time we do that shot, if you do it well enough. You can't just spam it though, there's kind of a technique, there's kind of a spacing that you want to be doing with each jump extend like that. It's definitely a mistake that I see a lot of newer runners make, is they try to spam jump extends like that by repeatedly respinning and shooting, and they just end up losing a lot of it doing that, and it doesn't work in their favor. For most tricks, you only need one or two well-spaced jump extends, if you need it at all. Sector 3, logically the fourth sector we visit. I should stop making that joke, but it is funny to me. The heated sector, there are some heated rooms here. We're not going to go into any of them because Adam tells me not to. And they're faster to do later. There's a trick I'm going to try to do here by running off of a ledge and storing a spark the frame that I land. It is not happening in this run, unfortunately. If I did get that, I would be sparking across to the green doors first, and then getting this. But instead, I will be doing it this way, which isn't much slower, but it is far less swaggy. There's a similar strat in Sector 5 that I'll be going for as well. Just once though, because it takes a lot of time to go for, and just barely saves any time. Good jump there. There's a really cool shine store there. Breaking that speed block at the same time as you store a spark. Save a half second sparking up that shaft instead of climbing up it. There's a strat coming up right here called Data Spark. We're going to try to spark after we collect this data. Save some time going out. It is very tight though. Got it. You can see that the door was barely open. Like there was still a little bit of door there when I was going through it, because it's just so tight. You barely make it through. Excuse you. I see some references to Bob the Missile Tank in chat. That was the missile tank that I picked up right before getting the data room. That is supposed to be an unskippable tank. If you do skip it through either out of bounds or a really difficult shine spark chain, you cannot pick it up later. Oh yeah, that was Fox. He's dead. I mean, no, he's not dead, but he'll be back later. We'll see him again. That's a really tight jump extend there to get past that ledge without falling onto it. But anyway, that security robot box, that fight is normally you have to go and climb on the ladders on the ceiling to shoot at box, but with some damage boosting, you can just get right inside of him and just start shooting at him. It is a very small window, though. It took me a lot of practice to get that one down consistently. And you will not see many people doing that. Box is mildly inconvenienced, yes. He came in, I started shooting at him, and he's like, nah, screw this, I'm out. This is not the place to be. He's much more of a threat later on, though. He takes a whole 2 more missiles to kill later. Just kind of something that's weird to think about. Kind of health scaling in this game. Which is like, it offers kind of a similar challenge throughout the game in terms of how many shots you need to kill a thing. Kind of in a Nintendo fashion of taking three hits to kill an enemy or kill a boss in a Mario game or something. Kind of does a similar thing in this game. Even if you are getting more powerful items, enemies have more health and they still deal more damage. Because the game expects you to be picking up heat tanks throughout the run. And that's something you really feel when you're doing low percent runs. Is that gonna hit? Should. Good. So we're gonna do a strat here to get around SAX here a little bit faster. It's gonna look very scary. It's kind of scary, but it's also fast, so I'm going to do it. Oh, hello. Except it's not that scary, because you have a ton of health in Hondo, so whatever. There's a health refill coming up anyway. Hello. And we got the worst RNG here. We'll pick up this Red X for safety. So we're going to be doing a lot of damage boosting on Megacore. Normally, you're expected to be shooting away the satellites that surround Megacore. I think I hit the ceiling there. Yeah. You're expected to be shooting the satellites around Megacore, but we can just damage boost through them and shoot Megacore directly and deal a lot of damage. Excuse me. A lot of damage with the... Stop that. A lot of damage with the flare. A good fight would be 4 charge shots to kill. That was 6. That was terrible. But otherwise, still making short work. We're gonna do another bomb jump here, or we're gonna try to. It's another just barely out of reach bomb jumps. Oh. which does not save that much time because you still have to enter this room here. Nice. And grab that without falling down. Something that I haven't really talked about yet is enemy patterns. In this game, most enemies have two patterns that they can pick from, either a left pattern or a right pattern. These puffers have four patterns. They can pick any of the diagonals. So that makes Sector 6 a really annoying sector to move through because of just how many patterns there can be. Ooh. Gonna go for a very tight giant charge here, and did not get it. It's fine, it only saves like 10 frames or something. But it looks cool, so you gotta do it. I see people are talking about how terrible the Variosuit looks in this game. We're gonna have a very nice close-up of it, not here, but later. And you can all post what face, and just be generally terrified at how terrible it looks. I see some people in the past have said that the Variosuit is green, and like when you play Samus Returns, it is definitely green. But I think this is yellow. And I don't know if I'm colorblind and I'm just stupid. Not that if you're colorblind, you're not like that's not meaning that you're stupid. Sorry, I worded that poorly. I can be both. Magoo. What? Stop. This stream layout is green. Thank you, Kirby, for your wisdom.
I think the general consensus in chat is that it is yellow, and that's what I think too, personally.
I've always thought it was yellow, but people said otherwise, and I got really confused.
I can kind of see where they get the green from, because it kind of shifts depending on the background, but it is definitely yellow.
I thought I had been fed lies my entire life. I'm glad that there is consensus here. Alright, I'm gonna try this trick once unbuffered, once buffered, and if I don't get it either of those times, then I'm not going for it anymore. This is the same frame perfect tech that I was talking about earlier, where I can store a spark the same frame that I hit the ground. Alright, we didn't get it there. We'll try it once buffered. Okay. That is how you backdoor Ice Beam. Definitely slower with pause buffering, but very cool nonetheless. That may have been too fast. Excuse me. You want to kill that. You want to kill the pancake in that room at a certain time, so that the Ripper will spawn at a certain time, and therefore in a specific position. And I was a little bit early, and so it spawned a little bit further right than I was hoping it would. And if you miss that jump, you fall all the way. Where am I going? Where? Stop. I did reverse ice, and now I'm so confused as to which lap I'm on. Okay, there's Nightmare. I was really panicking there, guys. Panicking that I was on the wrong loop. Because I have gone the wrong way many times in Sector 5 and tried to leave before emergency was supposed to start. And I've made it all the way back to Adam before, and he's like, "Why are you here? Go to Ice Beam." Fool. It's the worst feeling in the world. Every runner does it at least once, I guarantee it. Sorry, I'm resting my chords, bench. Resting my vocal cords, no singing for me. Emergencies, pretty standard movement. It really introduces usage of the ice missiles. We're going to be using those a few times to move a little bit faster. Ooh. Gonna wait on that one. Can try a really stupid strat right here. Did not make it. I don't know all the specifics of that strat, I just know that it's really stupid and really tight and doesn't like to work. Excuse you. That side hopper should always jump. Thank you for opening right away. And you can just make your way up to the top floor very quickly like that. Nice. Double there. A lot of people say that this is the hardest core to get doubles on, not including wave core, which nobody does doubles on, because it's like triple frame perfect or something, because of factors I can talk about later. That's possible. But yeah, that's through with emergency. Double and getting a sweet spot too is very nice. That is something you'd definitely like to see. Make it. Thank you. I did that properly. Don't tell anyone. See some very nice movement with the ice beam. Not ice beam, with the ice missiles here. There's a very nice mechanic in this game where if you if you try to jump onto a frozen enemy, like from the side, like you're spin jumping onto it, it will snap you onto it, and you don't have to try to land as early as possible or anything like that. It is very convenient for fast platforming. The Ice Beam. What game is this? Where am I going? I think I'm going... Is this Animals? Did I already go to Animals? No. This is Animals. I remember long ago, back when I was first learning this game, I was watching the world record holder at the time, Eagle. He was playing this game, and he was talking about how he has to look at the flashing sector numbers to guide him to which sector he needs to go to, because he just doesn't pay attention. And I totally relate to that now that I've been playing this for so long. I just kind of forget. Like, it's not important anymore, I just go where the game tells me to go. Go up the elevator, please. That's a very nice example of shot canceling to land immediately and then jump immediately. That is Impossible Strat. It's called Impossible Strat because Jimmy Fosho did the science and determined that it was impossible. And I think I can confirm. It is impossible. There you go, Sat. I even lost time doing it. Those were decent. These animals can take a random amount of time leaving the room. You know, those animals were probably decent because I wasted time shooting a missile at nothing. Thanks, Sat. Not that it matters. They would have been the same speed regardless, I would assume. It's just RNG manipulation, yeah. Sometimes they can take a really long time to come out, and sometimes they just pop out right away. But usually they're pretty slow. There's also a soft lock that you can perform there. I think it's about, like, if you manually dismiss the text box after saving the animals, there's a certain frame. I think it's around the frame where Samus turns her head to look at the animals, and if you dismiss the text box on that frame, Samus just doesn't move, and you're just soft locked. And I don't think anyone. Oh, say that again.
Speaking of animals, I just want to remind everybody that we have one last bid war going on for Super Metroid, Save or Kill the Animals. So far, Kill is ahead, so if you want to save those cute little animals, I personally don't see why, but make sure that you get your donations in for that. That's going to be the next game coming up, so we have limited time on that bid war.
Well, I can tell you, we don't care much for the animals in this game because they just decide to lose time for us. So please kill. Go back in Sector 5. There's... What? Why did I do that? That was not the correct movement there. Back in Sector 5, Adam just tells us, hey, you know where to go. Just go there. Because we're going to the same data room here. But we will not be entering it the same way that we did so... that we entered it so swaggily earlier. We will be entering it the normal way because the entrance is right there. I don't even know if you can... You probably can't even do reverse ice the second time through. I don't think I've ever tried. That's a nice strat. It's one you do not see frequently. Normally, people do a pretty tight wall jump on the off of the right wall to get over there. But with some very well-placed jump extents, you can barely make it to the ledge. Yeah, you would have to go around the long way and just see if it's possible. Hello. That was great. But I don't know what the state of Sector 5 is going around this way. Oh, that... Well, I don't know. Would that door even be blocked? Maybe. Get up there. This sounds like someone should test this, and that someone is not me. I've noticed that Barry, you're dropping a red X there. From normal enemies, red X drop is a 1 in 1,000 chance, but there are get up there. There are some enemies who seem to have a higher chance of dropping a red X, like space pirates. Ooh, that'll work. Very tight jump there to break that bomb block without having to bomb it. I think it's frame perfect, but I've never checked. I think Rippers have a higher chance as well. You may be right. There's probably several enemies that have a slightly higher chance. And I think you might be right about the Rippers. So at last we can... Well, I was going to say we can go back to main deck, but we already went back to main deck to save the animals. So at last we are going there again. To see the animals again. Because Adam has questions for us, and he couldn't tell us over the phone. This room is a very good example of why bomb chains are dumb in this game. If you lay that power bomb at most other different heights, it will leave 1 or 2 bomb blocks just sitting there. Excuse me, for no good reason. And that's just a result of how bomb chains work in this game. So you'll usually want to wait. Stop that. You usually want to wait until you hit the ground to lay the power bomb there. You know, I probably should have selected yes, just on the very off chance that something negative happens. But we're probably fine. This is Hundo. I'm not gonna die. Famous last words. My timing usually gets both of them there. Yeah, you want to break both of those bomb blocks, those power bomb blocks, before speed boosting off of the screen, or before running off the screen. You want to start running as soon as possible so that you can obviously leave the room as soon as possible. But you also want to start as far left as possible so that you can get speed boost as early as possible. Lots of variables. Yeah, the method I developed is you... Let go of that ledge, please. You stay morphed after you lay the powerbomb and just roll over to the left side of the screen right up against the powerbomb blocks and then unmorph and just hold right. My thumbs aren't working. That's cool. Okay, cool. Because I was slow on the first one, it allowed Yakuza to take an extra round here. Usually it's only between 1 and 4 rounds. Why am I... So that was, instead of being a 4 round, that was a 5 round. Just whatever. Okay, stop that. Something else that I haven't mentioned is how missiles change with each upgrade. With every upgrade, your missile fire rate gets slower, and the speed at which they travel goes up. And that makes doubles on cores progressively more difficult with every upgrade. Up to the point where you get diffusion missiles where you barely get anything useful out of it, and doubles get harder. Yeah. Okay, that was bad. Stop. There's a specific spot there where you can fire, and it'll break some blocks perfectly for you to get through. I did not hit that spot. Yeah, the damage increases too, but, you know, the game expects that the damage increases, so it'll give enemies more health. Please morph. That should have hit. It may have hit 1. I'm going to be very careful going through this room. I don't want to... It rarely will crash on the other side of that door. I did not do that properly. It's happened to me like 2 or 3 times where I go through that door and it just crashed. And supposedly it has something to do with the way that the game queue sounds. But it's just very weird, and I don't know if it's happened to anyone but me. Oh, I think it's happened to GRP, another top runner of the game. But it's just super rare. Plasma Beam is way overpowered in this game. It deals damage per frame that it is making contact with an enemy, which is every frame that it's in contact with it, because enemies don't really have iframes in this game, generally. Actually, I think... Yeah, generally enemies don't have iframes. There are some that don't respond the same to Plasma, like Nightmare, but that may be more because of a small hitbox. Yeah, the plasma just shreds through enemies. Use more. We're gonna clear this out a little early. So that we don't have to come here later. It's supposed to be one. Ah, yeah, that's true. That is true. The final SAX encounter does, unless you freeze it. That is a good point. Ooh, should I try? I think I should try to show off Nightmare Space Boost, just for the fun of it. Nightmare Space Boost is a very difficult chain of space boosting is what we call just speed boosting and space jumping, and it is carried through a series of, I think, 5 rooms. Very difficult, only saves half a second over just sparking through them. And I don't know if I've ever gotten it wrong, but it's really cool. And what makes it really difficult is that Sector 5, as it is right now, has a lot of broken doors. And broken doors will try to place you on the ground. So unless you are moving upward through a door, through a broken door, it'll put you back on the ground. Should have jumped through there. I will try my best here. I'll probably only get through 2 rooms. Yeah. Good enough. You want to be carrying it all the way down to this room. But getting it through that, the room where I lost it is where I lose it 99% of the time. And I honestly don't remember how to move through the other rooms after it. Just because of how space jumping works in this game, it has a really... Get out of my way. It has a pretty long cooldown. And you need to... I don't even know the frame window of trying to space jump twice in that room. More beams. I don't know why I waited for that Rex. Some people think that this E-Tank grab is really scary, but if you wait until you hit that second crumple block and then press diagonally upright, it's really free. We're going to be utilizing... despite the fact that Nightmare increases gravity here, if you get really close to the spinny thing, you can still shoot him with the missiles. Despite it trying to drag it down. Now we have Gravity Suit, can move through water, don't take environmental damage from lava. Looks much better than the Varia Suit, and reminds me of Wild Berry Pop-Tarts, which are pretty good. I don't trust that. Wanted to be a little bit further back there. Yeah. I'm gonna try this. I'll try this 3 times. I'll try this twice. I'll try this twice. Okay. Oh, okay. Fine. That is a 3-4 time frame perfect trick to jump with speed booster in a standing state. And I wanted to land it on the other side of the door. So that I could store it and space boost through that long room with the crabs shooting fire. Oop. Which is a super, super cool trick. And I thought I was in the clear. Get out of my way. I thought I was in the clear after I got it into the door, but I didn't land when I thought I was going to land. So I didn't store the spark on the right frame. With this Security 4, we have unlocked every colored door, which I have not talked about at all, and I probably should have. So we can go everywhere in the station, pretty much, that isn't blocked by screw tack blocks. I think this is the first puzzle we've seen of this kind, where it requires you to kill some enemies and have them respawn later in the room. It'll make you kill golden enemies. Actually, we saw it at the beginning of Sector 4, but I didn't say anything about it. Or, at the end of the first trip to Sector 4, I didn't say anything about it. But it is a interesting puzzle mechanic that I kind of wish they utilized a little bit more. And in more varying ways. You have to kill several phases of enemies. And we'll see it again in Sector 1. Did it have them? Oh, yeah, it did. You're right. Man. I am on top of things. Think. You can freeze that guy and jump off him, but it's pretty tight. We're gonna try to get 2 items here in one go with a single Shine Spark chain. I'm gonna store it here, grab this missile, go back, and grab this here, this power bomb tank. There's something really frustrating that a lot of people will encounter the first time knowing nothing about it, and it is if you unmorph and spark too close to that to those speed booster blocks, you will fall. You will not spark through them, and you'll just fall straight down and be completely confused as to what happened because people don't tend to teach it. You just have to be sure to just drop down a little bit so that you don't bonk your head. Really weird how that works. Sector 4 cleanup is only 1 item, and we're doing it now. And we will be... When we come through Sector 4 in the cleanup cycle after Ridley, we are only going to be passing through. You're not going to be seeing much. I kind of had to change what I did when I was trying to leave that room, because power bombs in the... Where am I going? Power bombs in this game will force you to drop a ledge grab. Or it won't let you grab ledges at all. Which means we have to do some workarounds in some rooms while a power bomb is going off so that we can get to where we need to go as quickly as possible. You're right, this isn't randomizer, I had forgotten. Seemed pretty randomized to me. All I'm seeing are missiles and power bombs. And E-tanks. It's probably programmed, but it shakes the room. Power bombs shake the room, and fully charged diffusion missiles shake the room too. Maybe. I think this is going to be the first instance of an R shot. If you are space jumping and you have a fully charged shot and you have missiles, you can press R to shoot a charge beam and not get forced out of your spin jump state, which is very useful for traversing multiple rooms, and we're going to see it again very extensively in the Sector 6 cleanup that we'll be doing in a little bit. Yeah, SAX can do that, but I don't think our super missiles can do that. I believe. Could be mistaken. And it just never matters. Okay, yeah, sure. I did not do that the way that I normally do. It's fine though. Actually, there's an interesting thing about some bosses, like Fox here. If you don't have it on screen when it's trying to transition phases, it won't transition phases. It'll just wait there and do nothing until you get it back on screen. That's something that you sometimes forget, and you just go off screen, and you're wondering why it's taking so long for this boss to, you know, go off screen or do its thing.
Warning, no entry without authorization.
Oh, excuse me.
Warning, no entry without authorization.
Not something that people pay attention to a whole lot.
No entry without authorization.
So with Xbox there, we now have the fully charged wave beam, which is quite similar to Plasma, except that it can go through walls. And it is quite powerful, and also quite laggy if you don't use it well. Or if you're just shooting it willy-nilly, and there are enemies in the room, it can tend to lag it a lot. This room here can get pretty laggy if you're just shooting around randomly.
60 seconds to isolation lockdown.
Oh, that was almost a 56. Oh, the layout says it's not a oh, man. You know, I really needed help with that. It's been a really long day. I've forgotten entirely where items are. Nothing makes sense. And there's 10 SAX aboard the station, which really is news to me, because I've only seen one. I gotta be honest, I'm starting to panic. Although this Wildberry Pop-Tart gravity suit is making me feel pretty calm. Woo. Squeeze right by there. I mean, they might be. That's definitely a possibility. Here's another instance that we have of the respawning enemies. It's always a gold enemy will cause the door to unlock. If the door is unlocked, if the door is locked like that. We're gonna break these blocks early. Diffusion will break all 3 of them, and they stay broken, which is very handy. Ooh, what the heck? Okay, hold the phone. Why did you both spawn like that? Stop that. That was weird. Those gold pirates, you're supposed to shoot them from behind, but the way that the game checks it is that you're both facing the same direction, which is what would normally happen if you're behind it. You'd be facing the same direction as it. But you can just turn around and it'll bypass that little check. Like, laggy, screamy. Ridley takes 100 diffusion missiles to kill, but only like 12 or 13, or even fewer wave beams, because they just tear Ridley to pieces. Oh, didn't get it. These diffusion doubles are probably the most difficult doubles to get in the game, in my opinion. Especially the first one when Ridley is spawning in. Just because, again, what I was talking about earlier with how missiles go faster and take longer to shoot with each upgrade. Why did I jump there? That's not a door fix. But with that, we start the cleanup section of the run, which is a nice long segment of purely movement. No upgrade getting, or no major upgrade getting, no talking to Adam. The same music for 20 minutes, which is, some people like it, some people don't. I personally don't care. So, get used to this music. Depends on who you ask. I would say for the purposes of me saying there are no major upgrades to collect here, I am not considering them a major. Oh, cool. I wanted to spark up this room, but ladder jumping will have to work. You can kind of do a faux single wall jumps with a ladder and space jumps by just turning back into the ladder. Kind of tricky, but also pretty fast in comparison to just normal space jumping. We're going to try not to enter this save room on the left to avoid transitions here. This is pretty tight though. Got it though. Fuse or defuse the animals. Please enlighten me as to what that would mean. I am all for this incentive, but I need to know what it means. I didn't realize that the animals were ticking time bombs. But I am all for it. Oh, Pogo. I can... I'm not accustomed to doing Pogo, so I'm not gonna risk that. Ah. You could barely keep the space boost through that missile pack all the way over to here. It is very tight though. Probably only 1 or 2 frames, and it's something you really just have to get a feel for. That's Sector 1 almost done. There's 1 item left that will come back through Sector 2 later. Oh, okay. Sure, that's cool. I don't know if... Yeah, oh no, I should... Oh, we passed through here twice. I should have gotten that later. That would have been a great idea. So that strat is really cool. Kind of like, jump off of a block as it's being destroyed. Yeah, there are 74 power bombs in this game, and I don't know of any feasible way to use them all in a single run. Ow. Besides just using them in every single room. Like, in any percent and low percent, we don't pick up any powerbomb expansions, because you only need, like, 2 or 3 powerbombs to beat the game, which is kind of ridiculous. Ow. So they really are, for the most part, just a filler item. Break that so that we can come back through it after collecting these items, and we'll get a speed boost right away. Ooh. Almost lost my speed boost running up against that wall. This is, I believe, the tallest room in the game. It takes a while to get up and down it. So we will not be going back down it. Excuse me. Ooh. That was interesting. I feel like I need to look into that more. So a very interesting way to get through that. Excuse me. Rather precise jump there to skip sparking up those blocks, which is a little slower. Not by much, but just slow enough. And that's it for Sector 3. Oh, wrong transition. Sector 5 is very short, only like a minute and a half, less than that. PB tank above the side offer hall. Yeah. Yeah, I just waited. I was just saying that I should have gotten it later. But instead I got it at that point in time. So, done with Sector 5. Sector 6 is what most people would consider the hardest cleanup sector. There are a lot of difficult space boosts to do. It's one down. There's one more really difficult one in just a bit after we clean up the restricted sector. Thanks, Clueless. Honestly, there's a lot of it that I think is overrated that you can definitely do easier strats for. But the problem with that is you have to know what the easier strat is and not just follow what someone else is doing. We're going to avoid sparking up through here because that will force us to continue into Sector 1. And we've already cleaned up Sector 1. We did not want to do Sector 1 again. That would lose a lot of time. So we're just going straight back to 6. Excuse me. Again, puffers being annoying and having 4 patterns to get in your way. Looks like we're going to have to do the frame perfect trick here. If one of those ouches was going the right way, I would be able to just freeze it here. But instead I have to do difficult frame perfect jump. If you want to... Okay, cool. If you want to spring ball off of a crumble block or jump off of a crumble block, that's a 1 frame jump. Unlike Super Metroid where you can buffer it. Alright, that's the second hard space boost. Out of the way. 1 more leaving this room. Alright. And you get to see a weird door there, because we didn't spark through. It didn't have time to fix the camera. I didn't land that well. I'm smart. Yeah, SM, if you jump before landing, you can get a crumble jump pretty easily. Excuse me. Get over there, thank you. Handy little screw attack shortcut there. And that is Sector 6 done. Pretty effectively done. I would probably be happy with that in a round. Here we are, Sector 4. Not much to say. Difficult sector. And back in Sector 2. This room here is all crumble blocks. Effectively, so we are not going to be landing on anything. We will be landing on that. I was mistaken. And those. Don't take my word as... Stop. Don't take my word as law. It's actually quite difficult to get through those rooms without falling down. I guess we're picking this up now. That's the one item that I was talking about earlier, left over from Sector 1. Keikos are another enemy. These pillar guys, they have a fairly high chance of dropping a power bomb. Already got that item, so we don't need to worry about it. Charge of diffusion entering that room, and we got a good pattern there. And we're able to just roll across instead of having to space jump. Let me up. There's actually an interesting thing that happened. If you roll across two frozen enemies, depending on which direction you're going, like from which frozen enemy onto the other frozen enemy, you can get, the game will force you to unmorph. And if you're not expecting it, it can be pretty startling. Let me see if this broke. And it did, cool. A lot of things that you just have to trust you broke the first time you pass through. Nice speed boost chain here. It's one of the rooms that you see in the demo reel. I'm gonna try to store the spark on these crumble blocks here. And carry it down here so that we don't have to store the spark again. Ow. And with that, we are going to leave the sectors and return to main deck through the reactor core exit here. Freeze those so they stay out of our way. I think that was a pretty good cleanup. Yeah, missing most sparks, you're going to be losing probably near 10 seconds. It can be pretty devastating. Especially if it's in a separate room. Lots of hidden tunnels in this room, you gotta know which one to go through. On-drops at ledges a habit, or they actually help with speed? The fact that I don't know what you're talking about is probably just, it means that it's probably just something that I do. There's a lot of things that I just do out of habit in this game. People will ask, oh, is that faster at all? Just like, no. Yeah. It's just, you know, pressing B because I'm fidgeting. So this is where you would normally find out that this is Adam, who really doesn't have much context for this game besides from the intro. So it's like not too much of a... It doesn't really hit, in my opinion. Samus, she doesn't talk about him in Super Metroid or in any of the other previous games. It's like, oh, talking about like how he's dead at the beginning of the game. And then it's like, oh, this AI is this dead guy that we've never seen. Okay. SAX fight, we were kind of talking earlier about how SAX has iframes. That only applies when SAX is not frozen. So if you freeze SAX and start shooting charge shots at it, it will take a lot of damage. Triple double there.
Propulsion sequence activated. Destination planet SR-388. Propulsion sequence activated. Destination.
There's actually a really good setup for getting that triple double. So while it is difficult if you don't know what you're doing, it's actually really consistent, which is very nice. Ah, you can barely get. There's a frame perfect spark you can get there if you spark right next to the ground, and it'll take you all the way to the edge of this screen. Alright, now we get to find out if I actually got 100%. When we pick up this this Corex here. And I didn't have any doubts until Kirby pointed out that I might have missed something. I'm like thinking about anywhere else that I might have missed something.
2 minutes.
And we're good.
Destination.
And Omega is kind of a joke. You just stand here above this little hole in the ground, and you just spam up after Omega lowers its claw. And it's really free. Time.
GG.
Thank you. Up faster than diagonal. I think it can be, depending on how you do it. It's possible to start shooting before Omega lowers its claw, and stun Omega before it has a chance to swipe you, but it's pretty tight, so I don't usually go for it. If you do that, though, it should be faster than diagonal, and it might still be faster when you do wait for the claw to swipe. But usually when you diagonal, you charge shot, and then you run back, and then you charge shot again, and then you start spamming. So it kind of depends on how you approach it, I would say. But when you diagonal, you're usually only getting one part of the beam to intersect with Omega's hitbox. But I think with upshot, you can get two. Or maybe, like, at least on average more than one. And I say on average because the Ice Wave beam is kind of inconsistent in the way that it wheels around.
So while the crowd's rolling, and we validate the run, I'm assuming you have to validate this one as well, correct?
In terms of knowing whether or not I have 100%, I already know that I do. Right before the final boss, you get a refill, and it'll show you all the items that you have.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I'm not super familiar with the Metroid game.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine.
Awesome. But yeah, as the credits are rolling and everything is going on, where can we find you if anybody wants to see some more awesome gameplay?
Mannix has already posted where my channel is, twitch.tv/CScottyW. I haven't been doing mining runs lately because I've been very busy with schoolwork and kind of traveling a little bit. So I will be hoping to be streaming more in the near future, though.
Awesome. And any shoutouts?
Shoutouts? Oh my gosh, just the Fusion Metroid Fusion community in general, and really to the overall Metroid community. I've been sticking around for as long as I have because everyone here is just really cool and really helped. They're always really helpful getting people learning the game.
All right, everybody. But that was Metroid Fusion by the awesome CScottyW. Don't go anywhere because we have more Metroid fun coming up with Red X Parasite doing Super Metroid. And as a reminder, we do have that bid war going on for Save or Kill the Animals. That's going to be coming up real soon, so get your donations in for that. We're going to take a brief intermission, and we'll be back in just a bit.